Have you ever wondered if the movies we watch are subtly preparing us for future events? This question forms the bedrock of a fascinating concept known as predictive programming. Predictive programming, in essence, is the theory that mass media, such as films and television shows, are deliberately filled with subtle hints and references to future events. The idea is not just that these works of fiction predict the future, but that they are part of an orchestrated effort to condition the public's mind, to make them more accepting of these future events when they eventually occur. This theory is deeply rooted in the fields of sociology and psychology. Sociologists have long studied the influence of media on society, understanding that what we consume can shape our perceptions and beliefs. Psychologists too have explored how media can subtly influence our behavior through the use of subliminal messages and other psychological techniques. The concept of predictive programming is not a new one. It has been around for decades, even centuries, if you look at some of the early theories surrounding the use of media to condition society. Some of the earliest theories suggest that playwrights and authors of yore may have been using their works to subtly prepare the public for societal changes or significant events. The idea is that by exposing the public to these potential future events in a controlled fictional setting, they may be less shocked or resistant when these events actually occur. It's a kind of psychological priming, if you will, a way of subtly guiding the collective consciousness towards a particular outcome. As we delve into the annals of history, we find the earliest instances of predictive programming. It's a fascinating journey, one that offers a unique perspective on the power of media and its potential influence on our collective future. So, buckle up as we take a deep dive into the world of predictive programming, exploring its roots, its impact, and its implications for our future. The origins of predictive programming can be traced back to the early 20th century. In those times, the concept was subtle, embedded in the fabric of radio shows, television broadcasts, and cinematic films, serving as a tool to condition the masses. One of the earliest instances of predictive programming was the popularization of science fiction, which painted vivid images of future societies. For instance, Aldous Huxley's novel Brave New World, published in 1932, presented a dystopian future where biological engineering and psychological conditioning had replaced traditional values and freedom. It was an eerie prediction of the genetic engineering and mass surveillance we see today. Then in 1949, George Orwell's 1984 Inches hit the shelves. This novel presented a grim portrayal of a totalitarian society where individual freedom was non-existent, and Big Brother, the seemingly omnipresent government, was always watching. Interestingly, Orwell's dystopian world has often been compared to modern societies with invasive surveillance systems and suppression of free speech, suggesting that the author was not merely spinning a tale, but possibly hinting at a future that was yet to come. Yet, it wasn't just novels that showcased predictive programming. The early silver screen, too, was rife with it. Consider Fritz Lang's 1927 film Metropolis, a socio-political critique of a future society divided into two distinct classes, the thinkers and the workers. This film's portrayal of social stratification and the exploitation of workers mirrors many issues in today's world. In the realm of radio, Orson Welles' 1938 broadcast of War of the Worlds created widespread panic by presenting a fictional alien invasion as a real event. This incident demonstrated the power of media in shaping public perception and reaction, highlighting the potential of predictive programming. These early examples of predictive programming were not mere coincidences. They were deliberate attempts to shape public consciousness and subtly influence societal norms and expectations. These instances laid the groundwork for the continued use of predictive programming in contemporary media. The seeds sown in the past have grown into a sprawling tree that continues to shape our perception of reality, even today. These early examples laid the groundwork for the continued use of predictive programming in contemporary media. With the advent of new technologies, predictive programming has found its way into the digital age. In the realm of contemporary media, predictive programming has become a prevalent tool, subtly weaving its threads through the fabric of our favorite movies and television shows. This phenomenon has been used to plant certain ideas and concepts in the minds of the masses, often predicting or suggesting future events and societal shifts. Take, for instance, the movie The Matrix. This futuristic film, released in 1999, oscillates between two realities, one of which is a simulated world controlled by machines. It was a prophetic piece portraying how our lives would become increasingly intertwined with the digital world, a prediction that has since become our reality with the advent of virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and the digitalization of almost every aspect of our lives. On the lighter side of things, we have The Simpsons, a seemingly innocuous animated series that has uncannily predicted numerous real-world events. From the election of certain political figures to technological innovations and even global pandemics, this television show has repeatedly demonstrated the potential of predictive programming in a more humorous and less threatening manner. These are but a few examples of how predictive programming has been utilized in modern media. The phenomenon is not limited to films and TV shows. It extends to music, video games, and even social media platforms. It's an invisible hand, subtly guiding our perceptions and expectations of the future. But why is predictive programming so pervasive? One theory suggests that it's a way for the powers that be to introduce new concepts and changes to the public, conditioning us to accept these ideas without resistance when they eventually become reality. Another theory posits that it's simply a reflection of the creator's imaginations, a speculative glimpse into what might lie ahead, based on the current trajectory of societal and technological advancements. Regardless of the intent behind it, as we can see, predictive programming has become a pervasive tool in the world of media. So, how does predictive programming influence society, you may wonder? Well, let's dive into this fascinating topic. At the heart of predictive programming lies the ability to subtly shape a society's perceptions, beliefs, and expectations. It's akin to planting a seed in the fertile mind of the collective consciousness, which, over time, germinates into an accepted reality. It's about creating a narrative, a storyline that the masses gradually embrace as their own. Psychologically, predictive programming functions much like a self-fulfilling prophecy. By exposing the audience to certain scenarios or concepts, it primes them to not only accept these scenarios as plausible, but also to expect them. This mental priming can influence individual and societal behaviors, attitudes, and even public policy. Sociologically, predictive programming can shape social norms and expectations. By consistently portraying specific behaviors, lifestyles, or ideologies, media can subtly influence what society perceives as normal, acceptable, or inevitable. This can lead to significant shifts in societal norms, values, and behaviors over time. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Theories abound regarding the use of media to manipulate mass consciousness. Some argue that predictive programming is a deliberate tool used by those in power to control societal direction. Others suggest it's an unintentional byproduct of an interconnected world where art imitates life and vice versa. Whatever the case may be, the impact is undeniable. The media we consume doesn't just reflect our world, it helps shape it. It's an ongoing feedback loop where art influences life and life influences art. And so we find ourselves in a world where media, in all its forms, plays an increasingly significant role in molding our perceptions and our reality. It's a world where the line between fiction and reality becomes increasingly blurred, where our collective consciousness is subtly guided by the narratives we consume. In conclusion, the influence of predictive programming on society is both profound and pervasive. It's a phenomenon that warrants our awareness and understanding as we navigate the complex interplay of media and societal influence. In this journey, we have explored the depths of predictive programming and its societal implications. Let's take a moment to revisit the key points that have been unraveled. We started with the concept of predictive programming, a theory that suggests media, particularly movies, are used to subtly condition our minds, preparing us for planned future events. It's like a magic trick, where the magician diverts your attention while the real action happens elsewhere. We then traveled back in time, uncovering early instances of predictive programming. We found that this is not a recent phenomenon. In fact, it has been subtly woven into the fabric of our entertainment for decades. From the uncanny prediction of the Titanic's demise to eerily accurate portrayals of technological advancements, the fingerprints of predictive programming are all over our past. Moving into the present, we saw how predictive programming is more prevalent than ever in contemporary media. We examined instances where popular TV shows and blockbuster movies seemed to predict significant world events. These instances are not merely coincidental, but rather a systematic conditioning of our minds to accept certain realities. Most importantly, we delved into the influence of predictive programming on society. It's not just about predicting events, but about shaping perceptions, attitudes, and behaviors. By presenting certain scenarios or technologies as inevitable, media can steer public opinion and acceptance. It's a powerful tool, one that can be used for both benevolent and malevolent ends. So, where does this leave us? Awareness is the first step towards understanding. Recognizing the existence and influence of predictive programming allows us to watch media with a critical eye, questioning the narratives we're being presented with. The next time you watch a movie, ask yourself, is this predictive programming at work?